What is up, everyone? My name is Jake Fine, and today we're going to be talking about 5 of my favorite acoustic guitar intros. So I know what you're thinking. That sounds super specific. Why acoustic guitar? Why intros? But for me personally, growing up, I mostly played acoustic guitar, and these are 5 songs that right out of the gate, when I heard the intro come in, I knew that the song was something special to me. They really defined my sensibility musically early on. And I wanted to share with you 5 of these moments that for me were very formative as a musician. Intro number 1 is Fire and Rain by James Taylor. Just from that initial ascending and then descending part, this song is immediately identifiable. The subject matter of Fire and Rain is very personal and intimate and very important for James' story as a person and as a musician, and I think that's conveyed through this song and through the tonality. His style is almost impossible to imitate because it's so dynamic and has nuances that I think are very, very hard to reproduce. Specifically, the way that he ends on that G shape or the flat 7 major of the key that he's playing in, I think is really unique and introduced a new harmony to me when I first heard it. Intro number 2 is Pinball Wizard by The Who. The guitar part is played by Pete Townshend. The subtle half-step changes in harmony in this intro on each measure and the consistency of the bass note make you really feel like something big is about to happen. And that's true because Pinball Wizard is just a massive song. It's super energetic, and it's really where Pete Townshend unleashes some of his massive strumming, which is one of his signatures. I think this part is so well crafted by him and is absolutely iconic. Intro number 3 is Roundabout by Yes, and the guitar part is played by Steve Howe. Part of what's so unique about this guitar part is the classical influence, and certainly when I first heard it, that was the first thing I noticed. I had never quite heard this classical influence being integrated into classic rock, maybe with the exception of Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You by Led Zeppelin. Up until that point, I had never heard classical sensibility infused so well into the classic rock sensibility, and the way that that C descends with that picking pattern all the way to that E minor on the anticipation into a funky bass line in the song is just so cool. Once again, immediately identifiable from that initial harmonic into the triplet legato riff and then that descending picking pattern. It's just so cool, and I think will stand the test of time as an intro. Intro number 4 is probably a less heard of song, and it's called Layover by Michael Hedges. Michael Hedges is one of the founding fathers of what we now call fingerstyle guitar, in which you use open tunings on acoustic to craft really beautiful pieces. The tuning is DAC-GCE, which is also very cool because the bottom 4 strings make up a C major chord, but the bottom note is the 2 of the key, which is a very strange combination if you really think about it, to have the lowermost note of the guitar be the 2 of the key, which is not a very resolved chord, which is what we call a subdominant chord. I think the way that he used the harmonics to establish the tonality is just so clever, and the way that it continues past where you think the harmonics should be able to go all the way to that sharp 11 of that F chord is just mind-blowing for me. And it definitely was when I first heard it, I think when I was 12 or 13 years old. And it was one of my first introductions to fingerstyle playing and open tuning playing in the first place. And I think it took me weeks to learn it. So it definitely has an important place in my mind. And I think, especially if you are a fingerstyle fan, paying respect to Michael Hedges is important because he paved the way for so many guitarists that love to use open tunings now. The last intro is a bit more modern, and it's called Sparks by Coldplay. It was released in 2000 on their first album, Parachutes. It's in 6/8. The high E of the guitar is tuned down to a D, and it's capoed on the 6th fret. The way that this part invokes this minor major 7, kind of like what we call like a James Bond type of feeling, yet remains so calm and intimate and sad, honestly, I thought was really special when I first heard it. I don't think I'd ever heard this particular tonality until I heard this song. And the way that it's in this rolling, slow, swung 6/8 and manages to stay, like I said, so intimate, I think is really special. So that wraps up 5 of my favorite acoustic guitar intros. And I want to know, what are some of your favorite intros that you feel were really formative for you as you were developing your love for music? As always, thank you so much for watching. And if you dug the video, please give a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.